All right, folks, Samori Benjamin here with New York Mets first base coach and outfield coach, Antoan Richardson. Antoan, thank you for joining me, man. It's a pleasure.
Samori, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it, big guy.
Definitely. Now, you have a very interesting story, how you made it to Major League Baseball and all that, and you played for the Yankees as well. So I want to get into that, but you're from the Bahamas, I know. So what was life like for you growing up in the Bahamas, and how did you get into playing baseball?
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously it's a lot more laid back than New York, I'll tell you that, you know what I mean? And so definitely a real calm lifestyle. But grew up playing fast pitch softball. It's just the thing that we played in high school, and that gave me my foundation for baseball. When I was 14, I got a chance to go to Florida to go to high school, and that's when I kind of started playing baseball full time, man. So it's been I was kind of late on that journey, but you know what I mean? Got on the bus early enough, I guess.
Yes, and I forgot to mention, my favorite player right now to watch in Major League Baseball is Jazz Chisholm. Jazz from the Bahamas. And also, I got to give a shout out to someone who I actually interviewed last year from the Bahamas, New York Liberty, John Paul Jones.
Okay.
2021 WNBA MVP.
No doubt.
So,
much love to the 242. Appreciate that.
Yes. Now, okay, so and you talk about playing softball. That's pitch softball. That's very interesting. I know Jazz talked about going to his grandmother's softball games as well. So I mean, it seemed like softball was a big part of the culture. So I mean, so how much is softball part of the culture, and then how did you start playing baseball?
Yeah, so softball is still a big part of the culture. I think people love it. You know, it's a fast-paced game. It's exciting, and I think there's still a big passion for it in the country. My best friend's dad, his family had a piece of land on a farm, and he just would take us out there on Sundays during the summertime. We'd have to shovel up like horse manure off the field or whatever to play, but it was just about having a good time and playing with our friends, man. And so that's how we kind of got the baseball thing going.
Now I know, like you said, you ended up going to high school going to Florida for high school, and you were playing basketball and football as well, I believe, in high school.
Yep.
So now, just in terms of the football, now. Were you a football? How did you get into football, and how visible was football in the Bahamas?
So it wasn't very visible in the Bahamas.
Okay.
I would watch it. My family would love like the Miami Dolphins because it's so close, and that was my thing. But I could run a little bit, and I think when we had a football team, the coach was like, "Hey, why don't you come out and try out?" And then put some pads on, put me in the backfield, and I would run away from people. So I think that's how I got into football, man.
Okay, so that happened when you
went
moved
to Florida.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
So did your whole family move to Florida, or you?
No, I was by myself, man.
Okay.
So I moved in with some family in Florida, okay. But it was just an opportunity, man. I think my mom and my family saw an opportunity to continue to pursue baseball, get an education, maybe go to college, and we kind of jumped at the opportunity. Yeah, you know what I mean? No doubt about it.
Cool. Oh yeah, okay. So they're playing in high school in Florida. Now, did you have a baseball inspiration growing up?
You know what? It was another guy from the Bahamas, actually. His name was Angelo Burrows. He was in the minor leagues.
Okay.
And I think when he got an opportunity to play professional baseball, it was the first time I was like, oh, somebody from the Bahamas can play the sport.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's like, when you're people looking like you and from where you're from, you start to believe it a little bit more. And so honestly, it's Angelo Burrows. He was the number one inspiration. And then I just think black players in baseball. You know what I mean? Like seeing anybody with look my color and doing the thing, I was like, oh, dang, people like me can do this thing.
No doubt about it, and we're trying to keep the black ball players around the MLB. Something I've been looking at for a while. But because in this country, you have so many exciting sports, basketball, football, so it's a big competition. But so, I mean, what do you remember just high school baseball being like in Florida, coming over? And I guess was that like your first real baseball experience? I'm not sure how much you got to play in Bahamas.
Yeah. I would say from a competitive standpoint, it was definitely the most competitive baseball I've been around. And it took a really long time to adjust. It took me some time to get with it. I didn't play at all my freshman year, my sophomore year didn't play at all, and it wasn't until my junior year I actually started to play a little bit more and started to get the hang of this thing. So it was definitely a shock because I wasn't facing pitching that was throwing that hard and athletes that can go after the ball the way they were going after it. And so coming to Florida was a change, no doubt about it.
Well, to me, it's very impressive that you could play baseball really organized first time in high school and make it to major leagues and all that, because baseball is a very tough sport. So that's really impressive to me. So I know at a high school you end up going to community college and playing there, and you played there for a while. I know you passed up some opportunities. You were drafted when you were in community college still, right? So you had to be playing really well to get drafted at that point. But you passed that up for a while. Had a chance to go to Brown too, right? Passed it up.
Yeah.
So you end up at Vanderbilt, which is a big-time baseball program. So how did that all come about, and how was that experience?
Man, it was a life-changing experience to go to Vanderbilt. The coaches there at the time, Tim Corbin, who's still there, Eric Backage, who's now the head guy at Clemson, Derek Johnson was the pitching coach, and he's now the pitching coach of the Cincinnati Reds, and just like that whole support staff was like really, really important in my life. You know what I mean? They grew me up. You know what I mean? Took me from a little boy from the Bahamas to a man in Nashville, Tennessee, right? And so, like, I think when I think about that experience, I just think about how I grew as a person. And obviously, the baseball was what it was in the SEC, playing the best conference in the country. Some people might debate that, but I'm an SEC snob. And so yeah, I think that was very important time. I learned to fail at Vanderbilt, right? I learned to how to get through tough situations, which professional baseball threw at me all the time. And they just saw me in community college, man. So I went to community college for 2 years. I had a coach there, Craig Giroux, who taught me how to switch hit for the first time. And you know what I mean? I just kept my faith, man, and got some opportunities.
Yeah, it's amazing going to community college and being able to end up here. You know, a lot of people would think go to community college, you can't make it here, but that's truly inspiring. Now, did you play with David Price when you were there? Yeah,
so when I was a senior, David Price was a freshman, so I got him when he first came in, man.
Okay.
And obviously, we know what type of talent he was.
Yeah, he ended up becoming the first overall pick in the draft, so that's really cool. Now, I know that you got your degree too in engineering, so I mean, how did it feel to be able to get a degree in engineering through playing baseball?
Man, like amazing, right? Because that was the plan. My mom sent me off when I was 14 to finally finish the goal, get to the finish line. Was really heartwarming, man. I know it was big for me. I think it was big for my family, and so all those sacrifices that were made, it made it worthwhile. So definitely very fulfilling, man.
And then you drafted by San Francisco, and instead of looking to get a job in engineering, you want to play baseball, you know, and we definitely understand that. And San Fran drafts you. So how did it feel to also get a chance? Well, you were drafted a few times, pass it up. So what made you decide, okay, now I'm going to take this minor league professional baseball path?
Yeah, so I think the first couple of times, man, I think a part of it was just not being ready mentally, right? Like I think and physically, I was kind of small, and I figured I had some more time to grow. And then after my senior year, it was like there's no other choice, right? There's the time to go. I couldn't hide behind the blanket anymore, right? So I had to go in for this experience. And so, but I do think that time in Nashville at Vanderbilt really groomed me for what was about to happen, right? Because pro baseball hit me with a bunch of stuff in the face, man. I failed a lot. Things didn't always go my way. But through my time, you know, Palm Beach Community College, Vanderbilt, and some of the experience in the Bahamas prepared me for those moments.
Yeah, and the minor leagues is a grind. It's not easy, and you're someone who spent a lot of time in the minor leagues, and you actually ended up making your MLB debut with Atlanta, a different organization. So just before the Atlanta Braves debut, how was your experience in the minor leagues?
Yeah, you know what, man, I think you got to love this game, right? Because, you know, the bus rides, the long nights, they aren't always easy on the mind. And so, but you know, once again, I think when you love this thing, you learn to grow from these moments and these experiences. Do I wish that we had a little better? Absolutely, but it was what I was doing, what I love, man. You know what I mean? I was getting to play baseball.
Right. I mean, so I know you were in the mountains for several years. So what? Like you said, of course, you love the game, and you really just kept firm and kept your belief. And I know. So what do you remember about your MLB debut with Atlanta in 2011?
Clayton Kershaw on the mound.
Yes. Clayton Kershaw got the head off of, yes.
Cy Young winner.
Yes.
And I remember my screen being on the Jumbotron and me just being like, oh my goodness, this is really happening. And then just the vibe. I remember, you know, all the guys in the dugout at that time with the Braves. So yeah, it was just a lot of really cool things that happened, man.
Now you bat lefty, not switch, right?
I'm a switch hitter. Yeah.
Okay, so you got to hit off Clayton from the right side.
Yep.
Okay, got you. Now you were in the minor leagues for a few more years. Then I know 2014, the Yankees, they give you an opportunity, so you play some games with them. And you know, I know that you scored Derek Jeter's. Folks, Derek Jeter, we know his last Yankee Stadium game, where that crazy game where the Yankees were losing, then they ended up coming back and Last play, Derek Jeter walk-off hit. Yankees win. My man right here, Antoan Richardson, scored that game-winning run, Jeter's last RBI. So that's crazy, man. You're in history for that. So 2014, 10 years ago, actually.
Yeah.
So what do you remember about that time?
Oh man, what just grateful, right? Like I mean, the experience, just experience those moments. Like get a chance to play with guys like Carlos Beltran, CC Sabathia, and obviously you mentioned the captain, Derek Jeter. It was just really cool opportunities, and that night was just memorable, man. I just remember the stadium rocking. It felt like a movie, you know what I mean? I felt like a fan the entire time, man. I remember having to kind of knock myself in the head and pinch myself a couple times and be like, hey, man, you got a job to do. But definitely grateful for those moments, man, because it takes me right back to the Bahamas, right? And we're like, dang, like, it's a long way from home, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's incredible, definitely. And that play will always go down in the annals of greatness in MLB history. Now, you end up getting into coaching. How did you get into coaching? I know you ended up going back to San Fran, a team that gave you your first professional baseball opportunity.
Yeah, so honestly, went back home, man, dug into the community and did some stuff back in the Bahamas, and just had a passion just helping, right? And that baseball is that vehicle to help. And through doing that, I think people took notice, and people invited me to be part of the organization. Found a good fit in Toronto in 2018. Learned a lot about what the other side of baseball was like, and I felt that it gave me an opportunity to actually continue to help with baseball in the Bahamas, as well as help baseball players over here as well. And from that point on, man, just like, I've been once again fortunate, man, with opportunities. And after that, I got a chance to go to San Francisco, and now here in New York.
Right, and you talk about what is the baseball development like in the Bahamas and the interest, and of course, Jazz is there. I'm sure a lot of kids see him and get inspired. So what's the baseball landscape like now in the Bahamas?
I'd say growing, you know what I mean? I think like, we went from a time where we had like, when I was playing back in the minors, we had like two professional players in the minor leagues, and now we got like anywhere from 20 to 30, right? And then you got Jazz Chisholm starring down in Miami. And so like, it's definitely a growing sport. You got a lot of room to go, but it's an exciting time too for baseball in the Bahamas.
And I know you got a chance to play in WBC. You were part of the Great Britain team, and you also now coach with Great Britain. So how did that come about?
Yeah, so obviously we used to be a colony of Great Britain back in the day, and so with that connection, it allowed some Bahamians to play for Great Britain. And when we got that opportunity, it was our first time as a group of Bahamians to be able to play together on the national stage. So we really kind of cherished that moment of being together and then playing for something a little bigger than yourself, right? And so like, it was pretty cool to play for a flag, and so we were honored that we were allowed that opportunity. We're still finding our way to find to do it for our flag, right, the Bahamas, and fighting for that opportunity. But that was really cool, and then the opportunity to go back and coach, right, and kind of like give back in that capacity has been really fulfilling as well, man. So, and it's excited that we got a chance to win a game in the last WBC and now qualify for the next one. Yes. So man, so definitely excited.
The WBC, I love that event. There's two more for you. Just your time as a player. Who is the most talented player that you've had the chance to play with?
Oh man, what a tough question. Man, that won't put me on the spot, man. It's hard to say, man. I think like it's to play with. Chipper Jones stands out. Derek Jeter obviously stands out. I'll leave it at those two right now, man. They're two Hall of Famers. I can't go wrong with them, right?
And as a coach, the most talented player that you had a chance to coach.
Oh man, you put me on the spot now, man. You got guys calling me on the phone. You know what? I could say Josh Chisholm, man. Like, I got a chance to coach him when he was a little kid.
Really,
you know what I mean? And so, like,
awesome.
To see his development has been really, really cool. But honestly, man, I'll tell you this. Real talk is that, like, these athletes are so unique, man. And I think, like, they're able to do things that we can't teach. And everybody has this unique skill. And so I think that's the fun part about this is, like, you say who's the most talented, but, like, you just got guys that do things a different way and so unique. And so, man, they all special in their, like, own unique way, man. So it's a tough question. I just think, like, you just got some really unique players.
What do you think has been the key to Jazz being able to have the success that he's had here?
Being himself, you know what I mean? He's a vibe, right? Everybody knows that. But I think him just kind of being himself and being able to show out how he wants to show out, you know what I mean? I think that's allowed him to bring his flavor to the game, and I think that's what allows him to thrive because he's authentically being himself.
Last one for you. Just what's it been like here, your first year here in New York City? What's it been like for you to get a chance to be here? And what do you think the Mets have to do to get things going in the right direction?
Man, it's the Big Apple, man. You know what I mean? Like this is this is the city that everybody want to be in, and so that's been really cool. In terms of getting the right direction, look, man, we just gotta play better baseball. We see we've been making some mistakes, and I think we just gotta clean that up a little bit. Obviously, we got a really talented group of players, and I think we're on that track. We're on the track of mitigating the mistakes, man. And I think we don't make as many mistakes, and we give ourselves more opportunities to win. And hopefully this ship turns a little bit now in the right direction.
Awesome, and tomorrow should be a fun day with Darryl Strawberry having his number retired, and Antoan Richardson, New York Mets first base coach, long-time baseball man. Thank you so much, man.
No, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you. Much love.
Appreciate you too. We're back.